Hi, Namaste to one and all. I am Professor Venkatama B.R., Assistant Professor of English, Government Facility College, Gudipandi. I welcome you to this Learning Management System, a digital learning initiative of the Department of Collegiate Technical Education, Government of Karnataka. Dear friends, in this second session, let us learn the poem of William Wordsworth titled as To the Cuckoo. This is a poem prescribed for the program BCom of the third semester for the language English of Bangalore North University. Dear friends, let us know the contents of this session. In this session, we are going to have the presentation of the poem. Apart from this, we have the meanings and explanations for the poem stanza wise. And at the most important thing, we have the multiple choice questions based on this session that we discuss, and at last we have the sources and references. Dear students, let us know the objectives of this lesson. The objectives of this session include that the students will explain the poem prescribed. The students will develop aesthetic sense. The students will appreciate the beauty of the poem. Let us discuss the session outcomes for this session. At the end of the session, the students will be able to explain, analyze, and critically estimate the poem. And also, the students will improve their vocabulary. At the most, the students will enjoy the poem. Dear friends, now let's come to the presentation of this poem. The first stanza of this poem reads as, O blithe, newcomer, I have heard. I hear thee and rejoice. O cuckoo, shall I call thee bird, or but a wandering voice? This is the first stanza of this poem. Let us try to understand the first stanza. The first stanza of the poem says that the bird is said to be a newcomer. The poem begins in a conventional manner. The poet calls the bird, O blithe newcomer. The bird called a newcomer because it is just migrated to the region in the spring. The poet is happy on hearing the voice of the bird. The poet wonders whether this is a genuine bird or only a wandering voice. Because he hears the voice of the bird, but he does not see it. This is what we learn in the first stanza of this poem. Now let's move to the second stanza. The second stanza reads as, While I am laying on the grass, thy twofold shout I hear. From hill to hill it seems to pass, at once far off and near. This is the second stanza of this poem. Let us try to understand this second stanza. The poet came across the cuckoo song while he was laying on the grass. The voice of the cuckoo echoes, making it sound like twofold shout, making it two different voices. He hears the echoing voice of the bird of the two sounds. That's why he calls thy twofold shout I hear. The poet recognizes the bird by its distinguishable twofold cry. The voice would echo from hill to hill, nearly at times and far off. Dear students, now let's come to the third stanza of this poem. The third stanza of this poem reads as, Thou babbling only to the veil of sunshine and of flowers, thou bringest unto me a tale of visionary hours. This is the third stanza. Now let us understand this stanza. In this third stanza, the voice of the bird as a chatter and sound, the beautiful valley would comprehend. It is said that the bird's songs about sunshine, flowers, and valley actually transport the poet to the memory of visionary hours, or it's called childhood days. Cuckoo's babbling acts as a catalyst in bringing back the memories of the poet. Dear students, now let's move on to the fourth stanza. The fourth stanza reads as, Thrice welcome the darling of the spring. Even yet thou art to me no bird, but an invisible thing, a voice, a mystery. This stanza, the poet says that he is going to welcome the bird thrice in excitement. There is a repetition It's the repetition of welcoming the bird three times. This repetition shows the poet's eagerness. The poet calls cuckoo the darling of the spring. He has never seen the bird, but has only heard its voice. So the poet calls it as no bird. The poet considers the cuckoo like a usable thing, whose voice is a mystery. Dear friends, now let's move on to the fifth stanza of this poem. The fifth stanza reads as, the same whom in my schoolboy days I listened to that cry, which made me look 1,000 ways in bush and tree and sky. Let's understand this stanza. In this stanza, the cuckoo's melody has fascinated the bird. This melody has awakened within the poet a desire to find the source of its enchantment. Probably it was in his schoolboy days. So the poet searched for the cuckoo's voice everywhere. It may be in 1,000 ways. The poet would look into the trees, bushes, and sky. That's what we understand in this fifth stanza. Dear students, now let's move to the sixth stanza. The sixth stanza reads as, to seek thee did I often rove through woods and on the green, and thou art still a hope, a love, still longed for, never seen. In this stanza, we can understand that the poet would roam in search for the cuckoo bird's melody. It was a source of his enjoyment. The poet goes in search of the bird into the forest and on the plain. The bird always has reminded the poet's dream, hope, and yearned love. Though the bird is not seen, the poet still hopes and longs to see the bird. The poet hopes he will succeed in locating his cuckoo, the bird. Dear friends, now let's move to the seventh stanza. The seventh stanza reads as, and I listen to thee yet, can lie upon the plain, and listen till I do beget that golden time again. Let us understand this stanza. The poet has gone to see the bird, but he could not find it. In spite of that, the poet has not given up. He listens to the cuckoo's melody while laying down on the plain and grass. He travels back to the present. The poet connects his golden time of childhood with the present time. The poet, using cuckoo's voice as a window, he travels back to the days of his childhood. That is what we see in this stanza. Dear friends, let us move on to the last stanza of this poem. The last stanza is the eighth stanza. This stanza reads as, O blessed bird, the earthly place again appears to be an unsubstantial fairy place that is fit home for thee. Now let's understand this stanza. In this stanza, the bird cuckoo is referred to as a blessed one. The poet calls earth we walk an unsubstantial, a fairyland. The cuckoo's presence makes this materialistic world a musical place. This place becomes a suitable home for the bird as the earth too is mysterious, having such a voice yet hidden from the poet's view. This is what we learn in this stanza. I am sure you have understood the entire poem stanza by stanza. Dear friends, now let's come to the meanings or vocabulary glossary part of this poem. In this poem, we have the word blithe. Blithe here means happy or cheerful one. There is a word called thee. It is an old English word or archaic form of you. It is said to be the second person of the singular. There is another word called rejoice. It means to be cheerful or merry. There is another word in this stanza, in this poem, wander. Wander, it means to walk slowly around without any direction or purpose. The wandering voice is a word used together with by using wander. Wandering voice means here independent and free voice. It implies that the cuckoo is not subject to any restrictions. There is a word called lying. Lying means resting or reclining. There is another word, thy. Thy is archaic form of your. At once is another word. At once, yes, it means the same at the same time or simultaneously. There is another word called babbling. Babbling means the act of talking rapidly and continuously in a foolish and excited way. There is a word called vale. Vale stands for valley. Another word, thou. Thou, it should be second person of the singular called you. Some more words you have to understand. Here, unto. Unto is said to be the preposition of to. It's an archaic form. The phrase, thou bringest unto me a tale. We can simply say this phrase as, you narrated to me a story. There is a phrase called visionary hours. Here, visionary hours means times from the past. There is an archaic word art. Art in the modern English we use R, A-R-E-R, as an auxiliary helping verb. There is a phrase called an invisible thing. Here the poet can't see the bird, can only hear this voice, so he calls the bird as an invisible thing. There is a word called worked. It's the past tense of are. We can say it's were. In the modern English we can use it. Longed is the word used here. Longed means desired, carving, especially for something unattainable. There is a word called row. Row means to travel from one place to another, often with no definite purpose. There is a word beget. Beget means bringing about, producing in imagination. There is a word golden time. The golden time means the poet's childhood days. The word pace means move about. And unsubstantial, it means dreamlike or unreal. We have the word fairy. Fairy means fanciful. Dear friends, now let's move on to the multiple choice questions. The first question asked here is, the poem is directly addressed to dash. 4 options are given here. The first option is called nature. Option B is bush, tree and sky. Option C is the cuckoo bird. Option D is valley of sunshine and flowers. For all these, out of all these 4 options, C is the correct answer. Thus, the poem is directly addressed to the cuckoo bird. The second multiple choice question reads as, the poet welcoming the bird calls it as. As usually, there are 4 options. Option A is a blithe newcomer. Option B is wandering voice. Option C is darling of the spring. Option D is an invisible thing. Thus, the correct answer for this multiple choice question is A. The answer we can read it as, the poet welcoming the bird calls it as a blithe newcomer. The third multiple choice question reads as, the cuckoo's voice would echo dash. We have 4 options. Option A, on the green. Option B, from hill to hill. Option C, only to the vale. Option D, in bush, tree and sky. The correct answer is B. Thus the answer is, the cuckoo's voice would echo from hill to hill. Friends, move on to the 4th multiple choice question. The 4th multiple choice question reads as, the song of cuckoo brings back dash. As usually, there are 4 options. Option A reads as, the memories of the childhood days. Option B reads as blessed bird. Option C reads as a hope, a love. Option D reads as woods and green. Yeah, the answer is A. Thus, the sentence, the question asked can have the answer like, the song of cuckoo brings back the memories of the childhood days. Friends, move on to the 5th multiple choice question. The 5th multiple choice question reads as, in the poem, the poet has actually dash. Option A, never heard the bird's voice. Option B, never seen the bird. Option C, ever seen cuckoo? Option D, all the above. The correct answer is B. Thus, the answer in the poem, the poet has actually never seen the bird. Dear friends, after all this understanding of the poem, let us recapitulate the entire session. The session summary. The poet William Wordsworth addresses the cuckoo, blithe newcomer, the darling of the spring. The poet was laying on the grass field when he heard the song of the bird, cuckoo. The cuckoo song brought to his mind the memory of his childhood days. It is mysterious that a voice is produced by an invisible bird. The poet remembered a similar voice in his boyhood. The poet searched for the bird in bush, tree, and sky. The poet wandered in the woods and in a field and to discover the bird. The bird has become a fine hope, a pleasant love for the poet at the time. Because of blessed bird, the earth we live appears to be a fairy place. Cuckoos like to dwell in that fairy place at dreamland. At the end of the session, let me remind you that there are various books or journals or study materials for understanding this poem. So as to help you to enhance your knowledge, let me cite some of the sources. The first and foremost thing I could tell you, Palgrave, Francis and Turner edition, The Golden Treasury, New Delhi, Rupa Publications Private Limited, 2001. There is a textbook called Perceptions 3, General English Course Book and Comprehension, 3rd Sem BCom BBA, Prasaranga, Bangalore City, Bangalore. And thank you for watching this video. We hope to meet in the third session for some more elaborate explanation of this poem. Thank you for watching this video once again.